Hi, and welcome to Pivot. In this tutorial, you will learn all of the basics of Pivot, from changing the frame or adding a background to your very first simple animation. This is the Pivot Animator Interface, where we do all of our work in Pivot. The bit in the middle is the frame, where your animation will take place. The first thing you might like to do is change the size of this area. We do this by going to the Options in the Edit tab and changing the dimensions, making it bigger or smaller as needed. Next, you'll probably want to position your stick figure on the screen where you want your animation to start. We do this by clicking on the orange dot on the stick figure and holding the mouse button down. We can drag the figure to wherever you like. Now you might like to change the size of your stick figure. One simple way to do this is by holding down the Alt button on the keyboard and clicking on one of the red dots. If you drag the mouse away, you'll make the figure bigger. If you drag the mouse inwards, you'll make the figure smaller. You can also control the size using the figure controls over to the left of the screen. It is also possible to change just the size of one of the segments of your stick figure. We do this by holding down the Control button and sliding our mouse away to lengthen or back in to shorten. We can move any segment of our stick figure by clicking on any red button and moving the mouse from left to right or up and down. This allows us to put the stick figure in the position that we want in order to create our animation. Now you know all the basics, you're ready to start your first animation, so you will need to add a frame. An animation is just a series of frames where in each frame the figure has been moved a tiny bit, and when played back quickly, one after the other, it looks like the figure is moving. The smaller the movement in each frame, the more fluid the movement looks. Once you've added a frame, you can make your next movement. Pivot has a nifty way of seeing where the stick figure was in your last frame. This is called an onion skim. You can turn these on or off as needed in the Options sections of the Edit tab. You can also control how many skins you see. Remember, these are not seen in the final animation. They're just a guide for you and your movements for your animation. Now we add another frame. You can see that we have two frames, one with the arm up and one with the arm down. If we put on a loop and press play, we can see that the little stick figure is waving. This is just repeating the two frames that we have. Now, of course, in your animation, you're not limited to one stick figure. You can easily add another figure by clicking on the Add Figure button, and you'll end up with another stick figure. You can move it around by clicking on the orange. You can change its size using the Alt or the Control functions. If you want to use the other stick figure, you click back on it. The stick figure which is highlighted with the red and orange buttons is the one that you're currently working on. Just remember, when you use the delete button, the figure which is highlighted in red and orange is the one which will be deleted. Not happy with the look of your stick figure? You can edit it using the editing section of the figure controls. The section which is highlighted blue is the bit that will be changed. You can add circles or add extra segments to gain more control over the movement of your stick figure. For example, I like my stick figure to have feet, so I can add extra sections to turn these into feet. Once you're happy with your creation, you can save it to use later in other animations, or you can add it to the animation that you're currently working on. You will have to give it a name though. And here he is, a stick figure with feet that you can control. Now all of the figures that you have are easily found in the Add Figure section, so you can add more to the animation. Alternatively, you can load one of the figures that's in your stick figure file that came with your original Pivot Animator collection. There are lots to choose from, like an elephant. And here are a few of the other ones that you can choose from the stick figure section of your original Pivot Animated folder. Now there are a few other cool things you can do, like change the color of your stick figure to make your animation more personal or more you. Now we don't want a boring white background in our animation. We want something cool. You will be tempted to click on the Add Background button, but nothing will happen. You need to upload the backgrounds first. This can be done in the File menu. You can upload any JPEG to be your background. I suggest, to make it more personal, you draw the background you want to use in Paint.